morning, this is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com, and tonight I'm going over SANM gap down. It is Tuesday, January 29th, and what a move for this stock today. I mean, this was incredible. I hate to say it just didn't get to the target, but it really didn't get to the target because the target was $9. Actually, the target here, now that this is going to go, I think this here, $9, 906, but really this 200 is the target. Actually, I'm just looking at this now. Here, 890-ish, $9, 890-ish. There. I know it sounds crazy, but I actually think this thing gets to $9 tomorrow. It's going to do it in some fashion where it's going to be, it's not going to do like what it did today. It's going to either gap down here and then rally or something, or open like here somewhere and then do a tail and then drop and then get down here. Or it might just open like right here at the edge and then drop like really quickly in 5 minutes and then either go or hold. But this is the kind of gap actually that, it's crazy as it sounds, we'll get to the target. It just ran out of day, by the way. It went to 917. And even though it had an enormous bar today, the biggest bar on this chart that it ever had in its life, biggest bar it's ever had in its life. It is actually going to get to the target, I'm fairly certain, tomorrow. So what did this do today? Honestly, sometimes when these things start to go, what happens is the momentum comes into them. Really, this was the first target. But then once the momentum starts to come into them, they just get underway, and then they're ready to go. I never expected this thing to open right here and go like it is. In fact, I didn't play it today out of the gate. But looking back now, I say, where would I have taken it if I had taken it immediately? And why didn't I take it out of the gate or watch it right off the bat, even though the placement, as far as the chart goes and everything was good? It didn't have enough volume in it this morning. If you look at the 15-minute here, right there, 1 tick, 2 ticks, and this bar here. And this is on the open. So this was not enough information, okay? It was actually gapping, but lots of times when things don't have enough volume or enough bars trading pre-market, you can't 100% trust the gap. What does that mean? It means if I decide to watch something right out of the gate and it flips or reverses, or the gap isn't real, or it opens then all the way up here because this really didn't happen, like enough people, then I may miss something else. So I did not catch this off the open. However, that being said, I did see it then once it started to go underway, and I said, this thing's going to go to $9. Like at some point, whatever, after I did my other morning trades, I saw it, and I said, this thing is going to get to $9. And I'll tell you the short I did in it, which people were like, in my trading room, thought it was too far down, but I knew that it was going to just continue because it was so weak. Here's the thing. This morning, where the entry was in this? Let me show you. Now again, I didn't do this because I wasn't watching it on the open because of the lack of volume and trading in the morning. And that's the right thing to do. You can get hurt and stuff that has enough volume if you trade the open, 100%. But if I'd watched this thing trade right here, it actually acted perfectly. Why? Opened at $11 and dropped. Opened at the whole number and dropped immediately. Look at that. Did this one green bar here, and then right here is the setup right here. The stop would have had to be, though, right over here. That's where the stop has to be, plus the spread. Stop would have had to be over 1073, because you have to put it there. You have to put the stop over the set bar. This is the bar you're entering in. This is the trigger bar. This is the set bar. You can't put it over here, and you can't put it over here. Why? Because it has to hold the bar where it triggers, and if it doesn't, then it isn't going to work. And you got to get out, okay? This is what happens in the morning when you're trading and the stuff is going. Look at that. You could have actually taken more there. It actually went right there and then held it, okay? Now remember, you're giving this a couple pennies over the bar plus the spread. Anyways, then you're in, and as soon as it did this, you could have added right here. The stop would have still had to be the same place, though. 1075 plus the spread really was the stop. And then you got a nice drop here. And really, you got to be out on this drop if you get this entry right here, or something, because you have no idea at this point that it was going to go to $9. How did you know and when it was going to do it? All right. Once this thing, now this is a 1 minute. Once this thing does this crazy pop, this is probably once the volume started to come into it, then in the first 15 minutes of the day. Once this thing happens here, and then goes like this, you could have taken another quick play into the 9:45 reversal time, but you still didn't know for sure it was going to get to $9. When did you know? Started a base here, couldn't go higher. Started a base here and couldn't go higher. Started to come in here and based out. You could have taken this play right in here. 10:15 in here, this breakdown play was a real entry in here. At this point, the price is at 10.11. Let's go to the, just want to go to the daily so you can see where this is at. At that point, you would have known that it tried to recover and couldn't versus around here. Does everybody see this? So this is where I caught it, and I said it's going to get to $9 because at this point now, it's too far gone. There's nothing that's going to make it back up. There's nothing that's going to make this back up now. It's cleared everything. It's a goner. It's way past the 50. It's the momentum is under. The selling started. The selling's beyond started. The selling is in control. The sellers are in control, and the bar is solid red. Now, lots of times these things can bounce in areas when these stocks look like they've been in an uptrend, and they gap down and they look like they can bounce. But this thing wasn't going to bounce at this point then when this was starting to retest that area and could not go higher. Okay, that's where you knew then to take it. See that? Right in here. Try to go higher here, couldn't. Try to go higher here, couldn't. You could have taken it right in here, and if you didn't, you take it in here. And the stop is right over the base. And it never did anything wrong. And then you can be in this, into this drop into past 10, which was one target area. But by this point, again, you know the thing's underway. You know it's underway. So the call that I did in my room, in my trading room, wasn't until this guy here, after this rally. By this point then, it had broken 10, and I knew it was going to get basically to the 200, which just ran out of day or would have gotten there. I took it right in here, was the first play I took here. 9.95 I called, stop over 10.06. Got this nice little drop here, 30-some cents. Rally back, took more in here. 9.80 was my entry price in this one. I pressed this button, and do you know, as soon as I pressed that, I added more in here right before this thing dropped. Where was that? What time was that? The 1 minute was up. I literally said, you know what, I'm adding to this. And as soon as right before I said it, it went. I was talking about it, and I said, you know what, I'm taking more of this. I literally said I was taking more of this in this teeny weeny base, and as soon as I said that, this bar just happened, and my room saw me call it. I said, I'm taking more, and as soon as I said it, dropped. It's just, sometimes I have an instinct right before something's going to go. I have a real knack for that, I got to tell you, and I felt like it was going to happen, with this thing, and continue. First target has to be 950. It did break it. Okay, held it into the break here, and then as soon as it triggered 1 penny over the green bar here, I was out. Now, that was a really nice trade. I had an amazing price in it. I had a 10-cent stop on the first entry, and then once the second one was in there, it wasn't even 5 cents. Let me go back and look. And then I could have reshorted it, but I just stayed off of it. But do you know that the thing went? Or where was the other entry in here at 80? No, wait. Oh, here. Stop was over this base here. The stop was 83 for this play here, which was an amazing play. My price was almost 81 cents. That was an incredible play. So that was 3 cents was the stop on that. So I took the whole thing off then once it started bouncing in here. See? Once this green bar went 1 penny trigger, 1 penny over here, I actually got filled like at 47. So I decided to get out. I'm glad I didn't give it to 50, but great trade. Going into lunch, it's 1 o'clock. It's so late. I would have had to stick with it. I still wouldn't have added. But if I decided to stick with this thing, I would have had to play it really on a 15-minute chart and give it this whole pop. The stop would really need to be over 968. And if you hadn't done that, you didn't stick with it because you didn't get paid then and the whole way down. So it did this thing and it did this thing right before it went. And as crazy as these 1 minute bars look, after you're in a trade this long, you got to play the 5 minute. And it doesn't look that bad over here. Okay, it really doesn't look that bad over here. It looks like a lot, but it's just revisiting the same area up here. So if you're still in this trade, the stop had to be over this base, and it was 968. Look, never did anything wrong. Never even got near 968. Didn't here either. If you have 100% conviction, you stay in the trade to the end of the day or the target, unless you're going to piecemeal some off. Okay, I decided 950 was my target. I got to drop through that. I took it. But the real target was $9. And then there was no real place to add in here. If I had still been trading by this late in the day, I could have actually added on this pop and gotten almost 50 cents of it there with a beautiful stop. This thing was so weak today. It was an incredible trade. My calls in the room on it were spot on. I called it right before they dropped. And these what happens is when these things start to get underway and they start to go, there's no stopping them. So you just take it. You short it. You do it. It looks like it's too extended. It looks like it's too extended. It looks like it's too extended. No. When it gets an entry, if you don't take it, you're not going to get in it. Any entry you've got to take on these things that are phenomenal. So, here was an entry, and here was the entry. And then here was another entry. What are you waiting for? The 5 minute is trending down all day. All right? If it had gone up any higher, this wouldn't be in a downtrend. The 8 was trending like this all day. In fact, this 8 period moving average is squeezed and squished down on top of it. This stayed under the 8 period moving average the entire day until this pop here at 2:30. See that? Actually, let's see what this number was. 10:03, 10:06, 10:06. Was 10:06 anything? No, it was just a couple. Was it? No, it's just a couple pennies over here. But it's basically a 15-minute buy setup failure with a topping tail that squeezes in here in the 8 and then goes right away. And this was just one of these stocks that you see every once in a blue moon where it has such incredible momentum in it that it runs out of control. This is one that I'll actually save for my class, where they run and run all day, and you can almost short every setup that it has. Got to make sure the stop's at the proper place. Nice to piecemeal out of some of the profits if you really want to stay it all day, but this is still lower. The chart is extremely damaged now, and this was a fantastic gap. So come learn how to trade these. Come to my trading room. Join my trading room, the Stock Swiss trading room. I do gaps, and learn how to play these gaps and find these gaps in my Golden Gap class. I'm doing the next class February 9th and 10th. If you're interested or would like more information, please contact me at melissa@thestockswish.com. Thanks, everyone, and have a great night.